It's time for another episode of Game Changer, a chance for me to jump into your safe and give you some insight on how I might approach the game. This time, we're off to Leipzig, Germany. We've got a manager who thinks that maybe it's his players. I think that maybe it's something else. My name is Daljit. Welcome to Bustthenet. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification button to stay in touch for more videos like this. Alright, time to set the stage. We've got Leipzig, time to set the stage. We are at Leipzig. They're doing pretty well. They're second in the Bundesliga. They've had some narrow results the last couple of matches, and well, if you look at the team, it's not doing too badly. I mean, they lost to Manchester United 1-0. They dominated the match, but still couldn't get the win. The question is what's going on with this team. And then after that, away from home, they came undone. They lost to United again this time around. They had a player sent off in the 44th minute. We can't really jump to conclusions based on that, because once you have a player sent off, the whole game changes. You tend to you need to recover, right? So what about his squad? I'm looking at his squad depth. And it's not that bad. The squad is pretty good. I mean, they got this player here, Pima Celia. Look at him, man. This guy is a speed demon, and he won't lose the ball. He's incredibly good at dribbling the ball. I mean, give me a player like him, and you can turn him into a balloon d'or. Right? He's just gonna be extraordinarily difficult to stop. And then up top, they got Weimar Dembele, a nice young striker, also incredibly fast. The moment he gets the ball at his feet, how do you stop him? So as you go through the site, we find that he's well endowed. Well endowed with talent. You got Marcelo here, an attacking midfielder coming in from the left flank. Very, very solid. And then in midfield, you've got this player, how Guillem. Seriously, I mean, if I massacre people's names out there, I'm trying my best not to do it, and I do apologize. I am from a small little Asian island where names like these are exotic. So we've got Jao Gulem. He is a very, very exciting central midfielder. So he doesn't tackle, but he's got the bravery, he's got the mental strength and the mental awareness to know where to be at the right time. So he's a very exciting Mazala, fantastic flair, very good at looking for opportunities, and more importantly, he's got killer balls on him, so we can expect the unexpected from this player. On partnering him, we've got players like Scotta, T. Adams, Popper Lazy. If there's any one criticism we could have for this team, is maybe they need one more player in midfield who's a bit more of a ball winner. And then when we look at there's other players, they got Lenny, and they got, of course, they've got the legendary Deo Upamecano. Who doesn't want to sign in for their teams the moment FM20 starts? We've got Sandro. Well, he's away on loan, pretty average. Then got Loloya, also not too bad. Okay, the only thing wrong with this player is, of course, the bravery. So when you use a player like that, you gotta ask questions about whether or not he's gonna be there when the chips are down. You need him to go make a tackle. Will he do it? I mean, first up, his anticipation, his concentration, his positioning is not bad. So he might not go in for the tackle, but he certainly is going to put himself in the right position. So does he need to tackle if he wins the ball? That's the question we have to ask ourselves whenever he plays. So when he's playing on the pitch, that's what we pay attention to during transitions. Now in the back, we've got a team. He's also not a bad defender. The thing about this team is, when I looked at this team, I was pretty impressed with their speed at the back. They've got central defenders who are very powerful, strong in the air, very good markers, and fantastic at tackling, and they can read the game. So these kind of footballers, you will see a lot of interceptions with them when they're playing at the back. So you're not interested in them tackling, you're interested in them breaking up play before it can even happen. So a team is one of those kind of players. Very, very good central defender. I mean, the only criticism you wanna have for him is the fact that he's got low work rate, but Defenders, work rate, it's not something very high up on the, the totem pole for priorities. This guy is not too bad. He's pretty good. Then we got Marcelo. Marcelo is another defender. Again, jumping reach, fantastic. He's got defenders that are very good in the air, and they are all young. I mean, you go down to the third choice. Okay, only criticism, maybe he doesn't have jumping reach, but you can still play him. You can play Tulio as a defensive midfielder. You can play him as a central defender. But the only thing is, when you have a player with low jumping reach, you definitely want him to have very good acceleration and anticipation. At least he's quick enough to anticipate that he needs to be in a certain place at the right time. Okay, so fair enough. He can't jump in the air and win a header. Okay, it's not the end of the world. On the flanks, they got Kulisic. Okay, come on. Tell me what you see with this player. Alright. You see this player, immediately you're going, oh my god. If I was playing against him, I see this fullback, I'm gonna go, alright, that's it. I give up. I'm not even gonna try coming down this flank. Because he is fast, keeps the ball, can go up and cross the ball. Not only that, when my players want to attack, they're gonna have a very hard time getting away from him. He's tight. He's already got a trait for tight marking. He's got very good acceleration. He's got fantastic anticipation, phenomenal positioning. He's 22 years old. I don't know what to say. This is like, I'm salivating at the moment with the prospect of wanting to. I'm hoping that some player like this ends up in my save. On the right flank, they got Loloya. Okay, so compared to the other guy, this guy is, a bit of a disappointment. But then we go one step down, and this is what we end up with. Another pretty good fullback. And the best part about this fullback is his versatility. He's got good decisions. So, when you're playing a player like this, you go, okay, I can use him as an overlapping. I can use him as a wingback or fullback, defensive midfielder. I could, play him as an inverted wingbacks. Yeah, the list goes on. I'm going to take a look at a few matches, not too many. We don't want to get too lost in the analysis, but I'm just going to give you a heads up on how I do my analysis, right? So, we got Borussia Mönchengladbach versus Leipzig. You lost 3-0. A match you should maybe not have lost. All right, let's now find out how we conceded our goals. Okay, so we got, this is a setup. I'm going to come out of this because 2D will tell us a bit more. Told me enough. Okay, this is not a fantastic way to defend because chances are one of these is your fullback. Both of them are fullbacks. Now, if both of them are your fullbacks, then if you defend a lot, do a lot of corner defending, what you're going to see is one of them picks up a yellow card, the other can't tackle, he's got to track back. And it's a cheap way to see your fullbacks pick up yellow cards because it may affect them for the rest of the game because now they can't in open play go there and tackle someone. So this is one of the reasons why I like to get another player and put in there so that that player might be able to help out. So this was not ideal, right? You should have had 3. Now here we go, crossing into the box. They throw in far post. Who did we have? Loloya. Question. Okay, this is a fullback. Did you have somebody specifically marking the far post in a throw-in? That's my only other question because that could have been avoided. Not all the time, but again, this is interesting because I see one of your fullbacks was pulled out of position. There we go. Okay, during the build-up phase, right, they have to do a reset. Right, so players will do a reset. This is all from your set piece. All right, so who is here? That's a question. Okay, there we go. I'm looking for the player. One of these players has caused a reset. Kozlowski, Tolisso. Okay, so these are all your players. Look, these are Pozzi. Your fullbacks are here. Right, so this is your this is your central defender. Your central defender is marking the far post area. So he's been pulled completely out of position. So because of that, he's not going to move back. Because he moves back, you got to reset now. And then players are not off, their positioning is all wrong. It's a small little thing, but these are all small things, right? Because now the guy who was originally in the far post is no longer there. Right, so we got a player on the far post is not completely unmarked. So set piece routines again, right? These are I mean, I see most of your set piece routines are pretty good. They just like just one small little problem here and there. That's about it. Okay, let's look at another match. Now we're looking at Stuttgart. Now I wanna see something else. Okay, we gotta watch the goal first, and then we're gonna look at opportunities created. We got this player playing it long. This is not too bad. Okay, this is okay. You're getting a lot of crosses into the box, and you're scoring goals from there. Interesting. Okay, let's look at mines. Now I don't want to look at this. I'm going to look at the analysis. Teams. I want to look at shots. So we got lots of shots at goal, but what about all these shots? David team. This is definitely a corner. I should have clicked on it. What we want to see is the kind of chances you're creating, basically, right? We want to see whether we're going to take out all the set pieces and just look at open play. I'm just looking at open play to find out what kind of chances. Okay, this will be interesting. We got Marseille. All right, this is nice. This is where your team is going to do best when they take on players. Again, you see, crossing and heading. This is what I see, right? So because headers are the most inefficient way of trying to score a goal. The reason being that, you know, it's always going to be harder to convert something with your head than it is for your feet. So you want to try and create chances. Now this is not too bad, but the defenders blocked him, crossed into the box. They have gone to the far post. It looks like the tempo might be a bit high for that match. These are teams that are defensive, right? So the question is, if they are going to be so defensive, what can we do, right? Can we create better opportunities for them? Now this is okay. This is runs using the acceleration, the pace. That's just poor finishing. He took it on his left foot, if you noticed, right? He had a chance to take it on his right foot, but he went on his left. So the question is, the striker himself, and his whether sometimes some people like to train the other foot. Okay, but a lot of your chances, I've noticed a few of your chances in this game, they basically come from crosses, right? You got a lot of crossing to the head. Okay, Frankfurt analysis teams. Once again, we go in here. I look at this, and I'm looking at, wow, the number of chances you had in a very nice golden zone. Right? What kind of chance? I'm just clicking to see whether I end up with a header, because I like to, okay, this is a corner. Okay, so this is where we have to, and I wish SI would do this, give us an analysis screen which does not include, which basically doesn't have all the set pieces. Okay, here we go. Loloya, Dembele, Loloya again, he crosses the ball. There we go again. So a lot of the chances are coming from crosses. Now, let's take one more look, but this time we're gonna come out of this. We're gonna go to the pitch. All right, we're gonna switch it over to 2D Classic, right? So I'm looking at how you build up your play. So as you're building up your play, this team is fairly narrow. Okay, you see, when the team is this narrow, you can't afford to drag them around, because what you want to do is you want to open up the spaces here. Because if you have, a lot of teams like to defend narrow because they're inviting you to cross the ball, right? So what you want to do in a different situation is go, okay, fine, we'll just move the ball around now so that you're forced to move left and right. In doing so, we'll have players attacking through these areas with runs. So we got Upamecano playing the ball out to Marseille. You see how narrow they are? They basically gone, why didn't you try and cross the ball and play our game? Which is what you've ended up doing, right? So another thing that I like to do is, if they do something like this, sometimes I'll be narrow. I'll just drag the whole team left and right, and I go like with direct passing. I do like direct passing, lower tempo, and I'll move them left and right. And I do actually have players attacking the spaces, and I notice you have those kind of players too. Or you can decide, okay, fine, we're just gonna play a bit more wider and do it the old-fashioned way. We play a bit wider, right? And we have players doing those inside runs. Okay. So tactically, that can be an option. So we're going to look at tactics now. All right, I'm looking at tactics. See, this is interesting because you've got an inside forward attacking this space. You got a complete forward here who'll roam. You're playing on a very high mentality, which would mean that your tempo is also going to be affected by that very same mentality. This is all fine, right? Offside trap, nothing wrong here, slightly more urgent, but the emphasis is you want to hit the early cross. You got this player overlapping, You got this player overlapping, this player getting to the box, this player getting to the box, and then you don't have him. You have him taking furious and holding position. It seems like you're being a bit defensive here. Right. Against a team that is very attacking, that might be an option. But when you're playing against teams like Mainz, Stuttgart, even Borussia Mönchengladbach, I will take the game to them, right? I will tell that fullback not to hold his position. I will tell him to get up the pitch, because don't forget, he is not a crappy defender. He's pretty good. He's fast, he's aware, and he can do his work. On top of that, you got DM on defend here. So, and you've got this AP attacking, and I'm wondering, he's got close up more tacklada, which is gonna cause some issues with your shape, right? Players they might press a bit hard, and you've done a split block with these players, so you've got all these players doing the hard press. Then when that happens, you force the AI into making a mistake, and these guys pick up the loose passes. The only thing I would say here is that there might be something that we can do in terms of releasing this player, right? And maybe tweaking one of the roles so that you get a bit of option to attack this side of the pitch and stretch them and get this attacking playmaker to become a really dangerous player arriving into the final third. And this can be done. So what I did was I'll take over your save for the next couple of matches, which includes playing matches against Augsburg, Bayer Leverkusen, Schalke, and Everton. And I will probably do it in the hot seat with Munich, Wolfsburg, and Freiburg. So what we're going to see is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 highlights from probably 7 matches, maybe not all of them, just a few of them, just to give you an idea of how I did and what I did to break down some of these defensive sides. That's coming up very soon. Augsburg 2-0, Bayer Leverkusen 2-1, Schalke 4-0, Everton 3-0, 1860 Munich 2-0, Wolfsburg 2-0. Basically, in every one of these matches, we dominated. I mean, okay, so essentially we did okay in terms of goals. And the idea here is to create transitions where I have many options, right? Just not a cross alone. Sometimes, yes, we improve the free kicks, we improve the set pieces, but we're talking about driving into the box, creating mayhem, and then looking for scoring opportunities. So I was pretty happy with how we played. Sometimes we get cutbacks, leading to better chances at the far post, and this is one of the strengths. One of the things I like about using inverted wingers. They give you options. Leverkusen was a bit of a tougher match. The first game we saw some very good movements. In against Bayer Leverkusen, I again used the same tactic. I didn't make many changes. Marcelo getting inside the box, cut back, and then keeper dived a bit prematurely. We scored a second goal. I love creating tactics which offer me many options like cutbacks and the like. Of course, there are going to be mistakes that we make. We didn't concede that many goals. Here, as you can see, the pressure that we apply on the back line, bang, that's another goal. So sometimes we encourage teams to come out of the box, and other times we drag them, right? The setup is narrow, so they are narrow as well. Except I'm playing on direct, so I move them around the pitch. So I'm moving this team around the pitch, and then I go through the middle. So there are plenty of ways of getting that done. Against Schalke 4-0, this was nice because Schalke was set up to be extremely defensive. They were playing with a very deep 4-2-3-1. When I went into this match, I was asking myself, this is going to be a very difficult day. We managed to free kick, far post, score a goal, because sometimes against defensive teams, you've got to set up your set pieces correctly. So we set it up with the right guys at the far post, and then here, simple throw, slight change I made to your throwing routine so that we always have a short option, right? So that when we take the throw-ins, there is going to be somebody who can receive it. And this is another one of those nice turns inside the box, setting it up for another goal. It's just easier than just getting cross into the box and score a goal. The variety of goals was pretty good. And then against 1860 Munich, here I can't remember this match. I'll have to... because we played so many. Yes, I'm looking at the playmaker himself, right? So this was the playmaker had a good game. Silva Cortez played it out wide, and this is our playmaker brings into the box. The space opens up because in this particular match I went wide and direct him, wide and direct. So we were dragging the team around, creating the space for the playmaker to drive into the box and score the goal. I also tweaked your set pieces as well. And then finally against Wolfsburg, this was another 2-0 win, and I especially enjoyed this match because when we play against a 5-3-2, they can be very defensive. You can end up with matches where they have 60% possession, but the entire game is played out with the passes to their backline. So what I did in this match was slightly different. Here, I told my strikers to put pressure on the central defenders all the time. And our set pieces were perfect. So we scored from set pieces and we kept putting a lot of pressure on their backline. Yeah, so what? You're going to score from set pieces anyway. It's just you got to tweak them because the default set pieces aren't perfect. In terms of your players, you've got the right players in your team, right? I don't think you need to go out there and, sign more players. But here, there is one area of the team that I think might need some. I'll get to the tactic very soon, but there's one area of the team that one could say, yeah, you might need a DM, but you've got this player Popolazzi. He's young, he's got plenty of potential. I'm kind of averse to signing anybody else when you have a player like this on the bench. He gets a lot of opportunities to play. Yeah, great. You can use him, and then you've got players like Tulio. He's also another player that can play that position. So there are two of them. Then you got David Ateam, Lenny Ann, who's a DM, Marcella, who's a central defender, and you got the potentially Upamecano, who you can afford to sell, which is kind of amazing. Yeah, player wise, not an issue. You've got the brilliant players who can attack spaces. They're very good on the ball. So let's take a look at tactics. Basically, when I'm looking at your team is really talented. They can do well with the ball. So when it comes to the tactic, I didn't think we needed to make many changes. All I did was turn this guy to inverted winger so that I can unleash this player whenever we needed to unleash him. You can use him as a wingback on attack against very defensive teams. You can use him as a fullback on support against really good teams so that you try and keep the ball. So this is what we do against some of the bigger and stronger teams. We play fairly narrow. I keep the ball inside. And then when we go down the flanks, I'm hoping that this player attacks. These two players are going to come in, right? So that's the only criticism I have of this tactic is you really need to wait for Di Alejandro to enter the pitch so they can use the full width of the pitch, and then he can deliver. He can come in and do cutbacks. And against some weaker teams, we'll have to turn this guy into a wing back so that we can do cutbacks, and then we can drag the team around and try and score against them. So in some matches, I probably might want to run at defense, but there are so many ways of playing this. So this is the tactic, and the only difference is the inverted winger. So I've got one, and I basically get this guy overlapping with this dual partnership, working to unleash these two into the box because they will be doing their passes into the box. Then we have another version of this tactic. Now this version of the tactic, I've also used this as essentially the same tactic, right? It's not different. It's only the team instructions have changed. I've gone wide, I've gone direct. Sometimes I go slightly lower tempo. I think in one of our matches I went very low tempo because I just kept moving the ball around. Now in this particular case, maybe hit early crosses may not be the right thing. You want to work the ball into box. So it depends on the situation, and I'm more likely than not to use work ball into box by using this strategy and adding run at defense. So against some of these weaker teams, I could end up doing this. Why wide? Direct wide, so I stretch the play out on a lower tempo, waiting for everybody to come in and support. And then once I'm in a dangerous area, I tell my players to run a defense and work the ball into the box. This can create utter mayhem in the penalty area. The other option is to use this tactic, which is the same tactic but with different team instructions. Here I'm using shorter passing. I'm telling my team to keep the ball a bit more effectively using shorter directness. You can even go to a higher tempo and then hit early crosses. Now this is different because here I might be playing against a better team, and what I want to do is I want to hit on the transitions all the time. And here we'll be preventing short goalkeeper distribution. We're using a high line of engagement, a higher defensive line. And yes, it's a bit more of an aggressive system, but your players have what it takes. So in terms of PIs, I would cross in far post because he's more dangerous there. Wingback on support, I've told him to stay wider. They'll stretch the field of play. Mazala with nothing in it. Here, attacking playmaker, attack Zhao Guilhem, who's already got dribble more. We want him to attack the box, take a few more risks, and he is definitely a superstar in this formation. And then we've got this player Marcelia, who we've got a split block operating on all these players, which is perfectly fine. And that's how I would set up your tactic. And one other thing, when it comes to your corners, I think that you should be thinking of putting your best players in here, and then you could have one player at the edge of the area, right, to arrive late. But what you want to do is choose one of your corners to go to the far post and the other corner to go to the near post, right? So you direct your corners. And you could play this guy here, but have somebody who's very good at jumping reach at the near post, and make sure that this guy can actually deliver it with his left foot, and then, or in that particular case, the right foot rather. And here you want the best jumper at the far post, right? If this player has got the best jumping reach, you send him to the far post. And then on the left side, if this is the guy with the best jumping reach, you send him here. That's how I would set things up. And with your throw-ins as well, attacking throw-ins, you can afford to send a defender. Use this defender, send him here. It gives you a couple of options. And you can have another player lurking at the edge of the area. This is how I normally set up my throw-in routine, so that the player who's taking the throw-in has got an option to go to one of these players. When it comes to your free kicks, your wide free kicks, defending them, you want to put somebody here, preferably the fullback, because in some of your matches you saw your central defender going there to handle a threat. That's because there wasn't anybody dealing with the wider area. So all you have to do is go to these and make sure that you have somebody coming in to handle the wider areas. And once you have that sorted, you should have no problems with any of your deliveries out from the wider areas, especially the wide and the deep ones, which can be notorious for getting your central defenders out of position, which is something that I noticed in one of your other games. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's show and you found it useful. It is certainly one of those things, small little things. Most of the people out there, they've gotten their tactics sorted. They know what they're doing. It's just that there's so many options that we have with team instructions within games that I think that sometimes I feel that, we can be too rigid in the way we look at team instructions. Team instructions offer you a different style of play. That's it. And within the same formation, you have different kinds of options. And it's something that I hope that more and more people realize going forward, especially with FM21 coming around the corner. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's show. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. You can always look me on Twitter at Bustthenet or addicted2fm.com, our website. Once again, I'll thank everybody for the continued support of this channel. You make every show possible for the rest of the community. So you guys take care, stay safe and healthy. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.